So, do the Dodgers or the Rangers have a better rotation? It's very interesting. The Rangers had the best ERA in baseball, and yet they're the Dodgers sit in the World Series. Hi there, and welcome into the DLLS Sports Studios. Welcome to the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan, Jeff Wilson here, the cat, the queen over there, making those graphics like that and posing those thoughtful and insightful questions as we were planning on talking about the Rangers rotation today. But truly, when you look at it, Jeff, there is a case to be made. I mean, truly, I think if the Dodgers rotation had been healthy all season long, they may have had something to say about which team had the best ERA in baseball.
Well, they certainly spent to have the best.
They did
ERA in baseball, and it's unfortunate for the rest of the teams in the National League, and now the Blue Jays that they've gotten healthy at for them the right time, and for the rest of baseball the wrong time. It's going to be you kind of look around at the money they've put into this, and like Snell, who 2-time Cy Young, he's at like 160 something, total contract. Yamamoto, who's going to pitch game 2 after Snell pitches game 1, in the threes, and then Ohtani for as long as he can pitch. I guess huge money. Glass now big money. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but the point is they've spent. And they spent on premium talent, and these guys are really good. Yamamoto, I guess there was some question, would he be good in making the transition, and it's working out pretty good. That's an established group of guys, talented guys that have all kinds of breaking, crazy stuff and some velocity and whatnot. And so I'm really curious for this World Series to see how they stack up against a pesky, prolific Blue Jays lineup. The Brewers, that lineup ran out of steam. They didn't have a ton of big threats. So it'll be interesting to see how this all works out. But it was pretty good against the Phillies.
It was, and it's been great throughout the postseason. But this is, I think, the equalizer, the difference, because what we saw the Blue Jays do to, again, I mean, you can look at numbers and all that stuff, but most people think that the Mariners have the best pure rotation in baseball. Whether the numbers say that or not, they just come right at you, one right after the other. And I mean, Wu, I know, wasn't healthy. Their best pitcher wasn't healthy enough to even start that series, but ended up getting in there. But when you're looking at Wu and Gilbert and George Kirby and even Blake Miller's
the Rangers.
Yeah, where's the Blake guy? Blake, whatever. So
and then Luis Castillo's
Castillo,
the veteran of the group, and I think the guy who's not homegrown. And that's the other thing about the Mariners rotation for the most part. It's homegrown guys. Eventually, they're going to have to extend those guys or lose them to free agency. But it's pretty impressive and formidable, as the Rangers saw. They can't beat them at all in Seattle. So Wu's been good. Kirby was really good last year. Wu was good this year. So it seems like they're taking turns, because Gilbert was also good last year, but in 2023 was excellent. So they're in good shape. The Rangers are bringing back 2 really good veterans. One of them who has a case for the Hall of Fame, and Jacob deGrom. He's also, and I guess it dawned on me the other day, he's probably going to be the AL Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
that would make a lot of sense. It's pretty solid starting point. Then you get Jack Leiter in there, who looks like his career trajectory is going upward. But then who are you gonna put in there for 26? Do you bring back Tyler Mahle? Do you try to bring back Merrill Kelly? You take a flyer on Jake Latz being a starter, and at least until Cody Bradford gets back. Yeah, so there are questions there that the Dodgers don't have. The
That's
Dodgers
right.
know these guys are locked up and
Sure.
coming back next
Sure.
year.
You know, it makes
Whereas the Rangers only have, 2 guys, 3 guys for sure penciled into the rotation.
right. And so then you're looking at the various ways of fulfilling that rotation, one of which is development, right, along the way. And so you look at Kumar Rocker. Well, I don't know. You might feel comfortable if he has a year or has a response like Jack Leiter did.
Sure.
To going to Arizona and getting that intense work to sort of be like, I think that work, the bottom line of all that is just get out there and just be yourself at this level, right? That's the challenge. It's one thing to be yourself, but now you have to be yourself against the best hitters in baseball.
Right.
A lot harder to do than it was at college or certainly in high school or in the minor leagues. I mean, we've seen Kumar Rocker absolutely dominate in the minor league.
Yeah.
And right?
Crazy. Yeah.
And we've never seen him get to that level at the major league. But maybe that's some of who he is. So you go down, you spend some really intense time in Arizona, you come back, be yourself.
Well, it's kind of an awakening too for him because we all know his background is, awesome freshman year in college in 2020 happened in 2021. He looks hurt, got screwed over in the draft or not, but the Mets didn't sign him. So then, 22, he had a little procedure, which I don't think was as little as Scott Boras wants you to believe. Then he pitched at Independence as a trial for the draft. The Rangers stunned everybody by taking him 3rd overall. And then he blew out and had to have Tommy John.
Yeah.
So he's lost, and this was the point of the coaching staff when they sent him down after that brain fart in Tampa Bay. Guy hasn't pitched in a lot of games. He doesn't have a lot of game experience. And he tinkered, he added a cutter and that looked good and was a nice wrinkle, but he was bad on the road, which happens to a lot of young guys. But he needed something wasn't right, and he needed this. And whether he admits to it or not, that's the question. Did he buy into this? Is he taking what the Rangers asked him to do into this offseason and into the workout? And last spring, Mike Maddox said at one point that Rocker just showed up late. He showed up behind, and so is Rocker going to learn from that? Is he going to have a different offseason program and show up, more ready to go and dialed in mechanically and all of that? Because it seemed like he was playing catch up all year, definitely all spring, and then all of a sudden John Gray and Cody Bradford get hurt,
right?
And he's needed,
yes, and
so he was put in a bad situation. Really, no fault of his own, but he was kind of put into a spot that he wasn't ready for.
Sure.
And so this is a big offseason for him because there is opportunity for him to win a job in spring training. He's got to be great. He's got to be committed. It's got to look good out of the gate. That's one thing that Cody Bradford did the last 2 years. He went out and won a spot.
Yeah.
And I know he was hurt this year, but he was going to be in the rotation. He competes from the very first bullpen session.
Right.
He's out there kicking ass.
Right.
And knows that he has to win a job, or that's what he tells himself. It'd be nice if more guys had that.
Sure, because veterans don't have to do that, right?
Right.
Jacob deGrom doesn't. Nathan Eovaldi doesn't. Veterans earn the right to not have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're right. A guy like Kumar Rocker, as high a pedigree as he has and as high a draft pick as he was, man, you got to do that until you don't, and you still do. And so does Jack Leiter.
Yeah.
Jack Leiter needs to still go out there right now and at the beginning make sure they know that, this is for him. The Rangers will lose. I mean, could re-sign, but we don't expect. We feel like they're going to lose 3 free agent pitchers this offseason. John Gray, who we believe will retire at the end of the season, Tyler Mahle, and Merrill Kelly. Right, so these are 3 starters, 3 guys who John never made it to the rotation this year, but was scheduled to be had he not broken his wrist.
Correct.
He would have been in the rotation. 3 guys who would have been in the rotation aren't going to be available. So they've got to figure out how to replace them, whether that is with guys from within the organization or, Jeff, and this is where it begins to look potentially look a little bit more like the Dodgers. Would Chris Young, we just know how he feels about pitching. Would he spend big money? Allow the team to spend big money on a pitcher again this year? We were surprised last year that they were pretty involved in Max Fried.
Right.
More so than we thought. Now, that happened, that interest happened before they had signed Nathan Eovaldi again. So would they have signed Nathan had they gotten Fried? I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems to me like I remember we thought they would. Like they were in a position to do both. So would they get involved this year in one of the high dollar pitchers in free agency?
Yeah. I don't know that the top of the market they'll be there, but because I don't think Merrill Kelly is at the top of the market.
No.
Just because of his age, and then Tyler Mahle because of his injury history. But the Rangers are very familiar with him because Meister did the Tommy John, and was there every step of the way on the comeback, and then with the shoulder thing this year, there's a lot of trust there, and with Tyler Mahle, and I think that will play a factor if the Rangers are able to make him an offer, and maybe they can get it at a discount because of that. Kelly, first-time free agent, and we all know his fondness for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
But is it reciprocal?
Right.
You would think that it is, but he also said, it may not work out because it's a business decision. If the Rangers make him an enticing offer, then perhaps, it works out. I mean, if you're a free agent, wouldn't you want to pitch with Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi? And I know Nathan Eovaldi, and part of the reason he wanted to come back was because of Jacob deGrom.
Sure.
And be a part of a rotation with that potential, that just puts your team ahead of the curve so much. It's like, oh, well, we're not losing 5 in a row, and if we do, it's going to be very rare because, one of them has the sniffles or is on the injured list. It's like you're and if you can be the third guy,
in that rotation,
if you can win 3 out of every 5 games, guess what? You're going to the playoffs.
Yes, and then you've got Jack Leiter as the fourth, probably in that scenario.
Yeah,
and then let the Cornells and the Rockers and those kind of guys fight for that. And Cody Bradford will be back because he had the internal brace and not the full surgery. It's likely that he'll be back. In the first third of the season. It could be back as soon as May.
They said May, and we'll add a couple weeks of that and just push him back to June.
Yeah.
But it's the potential is there for the Rangers rotation to be very, very good. Now, of course, the bullpen is every year for every team is a work in progress. They have some work to do there. They need to get Sean Armstrong on the phone and get him back. Not to be the closer. Although, he did fine in that role, but to be just a guy in the 7th or 8th inning who can get you the big outs and make life easier on the closer. I hope that that happens, and then we'll see, if you're bringing 4 young guys who are, let's say, ARB eligible or pre-ARB, that saves you some money. And so, hey, maybe get a closer.
How about that?
Well,
How about that?
If you're not going to splurge in the rotation, splurge in the bullpen.
Get a proven closer. That would be another thing. We'll talk lots about that through the course of the offseason. So we've talked about one of the strengths of the Rangers this past season, and we want them to do some things to make it better, to make it even better. Let's talk about the absolute weakness of the team and see if they can do something to make it even mediocre. Next, it's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Who's first here? Oh, it's me with Game Time.
Yeah, Game Time.
Oh, my gosh. So do you know right now you can get a ticket to the Mavs opening game against the Spurs tonight?
Tonight?
Tonight.
Oh, man.
And, by the way, Nicole sent me the email. I checked it out. There are tickets, not a lot of them, but there is at least a couple of tickets available, Jeff, that are $53.
$53.
You can go to the Mavs opening game.
Cooper Flag's first game.
Victor Wembanyama. I mean, these are like 2 future superstars in this league. You can get tickets to that game for $50-some. And, I mean, even the really good seats, I know it's easy to say it's only, but this is the world we live in. We're going to talk ticket prices about the World Series in a minute. Even the good seats are like $230, $240 tonight. So that's the great thing about Game Time. You can buy tickets up until game time. Go to Game Time, get the app, $20 off your first purchase with the code DLLS.
Hey, the Rangers, who are not in season, are doing some fun stuff, though, this off season. And one of those things is the Fall Festival at Globe Life Field, November 2nd. That's a Sunday. They're starting after church, noon to 4 p.m. It is fall. It's nice and cool outside. Pumpkin spice latte, if you're into that. I'm not really, but that's all right. So fall is on us. Fall, of course, started on September 20th. It didn't feel like it then, feels like it now. And this is the second straight year the Rangers are doing this fall festival. Fall-themed activities, face painting, trick-or-treat stations, because the second's only 2 days after Thanksgiving, run the bases, carnival games, hourly costume parades. So wear your best costumes so that you can, win some stuff. Tickets are on sale now at globelifefield.com/fall festival. globelifefield.com/fall festival.
So about the pumpkin spice thing, I don't really like the taste of pumpkin.
Oh, I like pumpkin pie.
Yeah, see, and
pumpkin
my wife
porridge.
loves
I like
it.
pumpkin porridge.
I'll eat a piece of pumpkin pie on you, but I'm just not huge on it, and I've never even heard of pumpkin porridge.
Delicious.
Sorry, I bet it is. You and Little Red Riding Hood eating the porridge, are you? Yeah. And so anyway, but the wife got some pumpkin soap. You get the various flavors or whatever, not flavors, I don't eat it, but scents of soap. That damn pumpkin soap smells pretty good on your hands. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'll take some pumpkin soap, but I don't need a pumpkin latte or whatever might be in here. We need no pumpkin in that.
Have you ever had a pumpkin flavored beer? I wouldn't do it.
I don't know that I ever have had that. I'd try it, and then I wouldn't like it because I don't like pumpkin.
I do like the pumpkin pie and the pumpkin porridge. Like I said, very good.
Porridge. Wow. Okay, so we'll work on pumpkin porridge, and we'll work on a couple of these questions real quick because, Bruce, we want to hit this and finish up the pitching. Could Rocker be a long relief or a spot starter? Anything's possible, but when you say similar to Latz, the difference there is one was a number 3 overall pick, right?
Right.
And one was a guy who's just worked his butt off and gotten to where he is. And as a organization, you just have a greater sense of freedom. Like this kid's, we can do with him as we please. They're gonna be more protective of the number 3 overall pick, and they want to keep him a starter.
Yeah, you don't want to miss on that pick,
right?
And that's why the Jack Leiter development, in addition to a guy who looks like he's going to be in the rotation for all of his pre-arb and club control years. So that's great. And he's going to be, looks like good. And then, so you want that from your number 3 overall pick the next year. And Rocker seems just to be built to start. And maybe he could become a closer. Maybe if this fails, Cole Winn might become a
sure.
closer. Cole Winn was the 15th overall pick in 2018. You don't want to miss on your first rounder, and you want him to hit big like a starting pitcher. But what if Cole Winn becomes a really good 8th inning or closer? He's got great stuff. What if that's what he ultimately becomes? Well, it's not ideal, but it's at least you didn't completely waste the pick. 3rd overall, though, you definitely want the guy to start, and you want to give him every chance to start.
Yep.
And so I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, they're gonna ride that horse for a lot longer, than they would Cody Bradford or any of those guys like that, like Jacob Black.
Kelly, man, you haven't missed anything. There's no info. We're just
no real info. We were just bringing up
rotation for
the whole
year.
rotation for next year, and Jeff brought up where somebody commented they hadn't heard that about Rocker, but Jeff, it was something from last spring training where he didn't come in ready.
Right.
He was behind. That's the word I think that Mike Maddox used. He's behind, and he shouldn't be. At that point, he hadn't had surgery or anything. He shouldn't have been behind. So they got to make sure he's not behind this year. So the worst position I don't think this is breaking news. The worst position that the Rangers have had for the last 2 seasons isn't really a position at all. It's the designated hitter. And their average for 2 seasons at the designated hitter spot, Jeff, is 200. 24 and 25 total is 200. Now, this year, it's significantly worse than that. It is 195, I think.
Well, it's not significant, but it's still
it's not significant.
embarrassing.
It's embarrassingly bad. They had 16 different players occupy. No, they had 21 different players occupy the designated hitter spot this year. And I was wrong. I was right the first time. 16 occupied it. Only 5 of them were in double figures. The batting average was 30th overall, 195. The on-base percentage of 274, 30th overall. Slugging percentage, 333, 29th overall. On-base plus slugging, 607. That's 30th overall. RBI,
Jeez.
63 RBIs from the DH position. 63 this year, 29th overall. Home run, 17. Yeah, 27th overall. Are you kidding me? Texas designated hitters produced the lowest batting average this year in club history since 1972, the lowest batting average the group has ever had. And the 17 home runs, they're the second worst. Guess which season from 72 until now was the worst?
24?
Yeah, they had 15.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, good guess. We didn't set that up. He hadn't known. So, yeah, anyway, the point is it was awful. The other point is they tried, right? I mean, they knew last year it was awful. I don't know if it was 30th and everything and 29th and 1, but of course they knew last year that the designated hitter needed to be addressed. And they did. They tried.
They
right?
did try. No
And
doubt about it.
Just didn't work.
No, and I don't see it suddenly working. Just
No.
Evidence at hand suggests that, Jock Peterson is not going to be a good player. I mean, well, now without some dramatic changes to, his body.
Right.
And
then even then, now he's also got Father Time creeping up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, get the body back.
33, 34.
Yeah, how much have you just lost over the course of time, at that point? So.
Yeah. And the Rangers do like to use the spot to give guys days off. And so, while that's great and dandy, you keep the bat in the lineup, there is an art to being a DH. It's not something that, it's like, oh, I'm not on the game. I'm not in the game. What do I do with myself for 9 innings? Do I go take swings? What do I do? So there's some fall off there, but then, and also guys who are injured and dealing with things. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're not 100%. Or would they have beat out this ground ball that should have been a hit? But that turned into an out. And then Adolis Garcia seemed to DH a lot, and he wasn't this year. So it was a lot of things conspired to that. But yes, they absolutely can't have that hole in the lineup.
No, especially because that's supposed to be such a run producer and such a sort of the guy in the heart of your batting order. So you had Peterson occupy the spot 76 times this year, and then it was Jonah Heim 20 times, and we know what Jonah became offensively this year, or really this year and last year. Fortunately, nothing like 23. So you had Jonah in there 20 times, Kyle Higashioka 16 times, and conceptually, right, on paper, both of those guys should be great choices for designated hitter, right? Because they're guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark and all that. We talked about it a lot. Bruce Bochy wasn't afraid to have his catcher, his only other catcher, be the designated hitter. So, that should have worked out more than it did. And then the only other player, Higashioka 16 times, the only other player in double digits was Josh Smith, who was a designated hitter 10 times. And certainly just thinking of maybe the best Josh Smith can be offensively, is not a prototypical designated hitter.
No, but nevertheless, if you want to give him 500 at bats there, I'd rather have that than
agree.
Peterson.
Sure, agreed.
Yep. And that, that's not an easy one. That's not.
No.
That's a tough one because again, you need to produce
right
from that spot, and it's just not working out. So but it's not the only hole. I mean, first base hasn't been great,
right?
And that needs to be better. And then catcher needs to be better too. Right field needs to be better. They all need to be better.
Yeah.
Even shortstop needs to be better.
Sure, of course.
But you can't have spots as bad as DH
no,
was.
You can't have 30th.
Right.
Well, especially not when you have
when you have others that are in the low, the high 20s.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But especially when you have teams like this year's Rockies and this year's and last year's White Sox and the Nationals and the Pirates every year. I mean, my goodness, you got to at least get up to 25th or 26th when you've got those types in the league. So it was really, really clearly the outstanding problem, if you will, of the entire season. Now, we see the news today that Kazuma Okamoto has been posted, Jeff. He is from
will he be posted?
I think he has been, if I'm not. The Yomiuri Giants will if they haven't. Yeah. They've said that they will post him.
I think that they have to wait till free agency opens.
Okay, that's what it is. And so that'll be the guy, right? Offense. He's an infielder from the Giants, from the Japanese Baseball League, whose OPS was 992 this year. Average was 322. He had 15 bombs in 77 games in 11 seasons. He's one of those guys that's played a long time, not like Sasaki, who needed permission and they needed the prince or whoever from Japan to okay it. 277 games in his career. 277 home runs in his career over 11 seasons. So it's roughly. It's sneaking up on 20. I mean, on 20 home runs a year, right?
How many years?
11.
Yeah, 20 something a year.
Yeah. So anyway, he's an infielder. We see people in there talking about all about Sports Zone. What about moving a second baseman and getting Shea Langoliers back? I don't think that's going to happen because the A's don't want to spend any money. But can you move the second baseman and slide Okamoto in there, or can you bring him in? Would you be willing to as a DH?
Yeah, I think he's a first baseman or third baseman, first baseman. And then I read a note about it in MLB Trade Rumors. It's in reference to Fangraphs note, which I haven't gone back to check. That he doesn't hit velocity very well.
Okay.
You're going to see some velocity over here.
Yeah, so, you don't want that.
But there's another Japanese player who might be posted, who might be a better MLB player. But you can't carry Jock Peterson on the bench.
True.
Right. He serves you no purpose on the bench. And you don't want him playing first base. So Jake Burger needs to be better. I have more faith in Jake Burger, I think, than I do Jock Peterson. At least as an everyday player. He's had a 33 homer season in his career and a 28 homer season in his career. He's young. But he needs to stay healthy. That's kind of been the thing that's held him back. He had the Achilles injuries when he was coming up in the minors. What was he on the IL? 5 times this year, it felt like. Obliques and hamstrings, or the wrist thing that he had to have surgery on.
Yeah.
So we're talking about some genuine problems. Burger will come cheap. That's the thing. Can you unload any of the Peterson contract? I don't think you can.
Why would
somebody take a $3 million flyer on him, and you pay the other 15.5? would that alleviate a problem for you or create more of a problem?
Right.
So I don't know, but he does. I think he just, although when we did our lineup drill on Friday, neither one of us had him in the lineup.
No.
So I don't know. Can you sit on that for a year? And I don't. It's a disaster.
Yeah, it is. It was the most. I mean, the biggest free agent they signed, other than obviously Evaldi, but
Yeah.
the big splash in free agency, and it was just a dud. And look, they know it. I mean, they're not happy about it either, and they would sure like to see if they could figure out a way. But restructuring All About Sports Zone doesn't really happen in baseball. I mean, it's either get rid of him and eat part of it, or but they're guaranteed in baseball. He's getting his money, one way or the other.
Right.
Anyway, that's that. They got to get better at that position. Up next, it's the playoff talk.
Man, that went fast.
Yeah, it did. Went too fast. Playoff talk is next as we talk rust versus rest. Next, the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yeah, and it is Supporters Club Day. Every day should be Supporters Club Day. Whoops, I switched on you, Jeff. Didn't mean to.
I don't care. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
anyway.
okay. So anyway, join the Supporters Club. Will you get to the true sicko level stuff? It's really fun. All of our groups, not just Jeff and I, but all of our teams of announcers are and writers are going into the back room and talking about all this stuff. A, before a show, B, after a show, and then obviously during a show, but it's the before and after sometimes. Like, I really wish we could do a sicko level convo like we had just before this show with the Queen and me and Jeff, because it was true sicko level stuff. But anyway, that's the stuff we put out there. I'm not sure that one can make the air, but some of them can, and you can get them for $15. Join the Supporters Club today.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if we'd want to do that. I don't know if we want to go that in depth.
Yeah, we
that
may
behind
not.
the scenes.
We might be getting people in trouble.
Yeah, that's behind a lot of scenes, and it was quite a scene.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, in our newsletter, we don't try to throw any under the bus either there, but it's still worth your while every morning. And to sign up for it, you go to the bottom of our homepage, which is alldls.com. Very bottom, there's a spot for you just to type in your email address. That's all you got to do. Email address. That's it. No credit card numbers,
Nope.
no phone numbers. I don't think we're going to spam you with text messages, nothing like that. We're going to hit you with thumbnails, the latest stuff going on with our teams. And if you haven't heard, if you don't remember from our last ad break, the Mavs are opening tonight.
Yeah.
And a guy named Cooper Flagg making his NBA debut. I have a prize pick on Cooper Flagg.
Do you?
Yeah. We'll see how it
score
goes.
a half point or something?
No, it's more than that.
Okay.
But anyway, Ali's got you covered in our newsletter at alldls.com. Go to the bottom, put in your email address. Ta-da.
Yeah, and so as far as that spam stuff goes and getting inundated, I joined, I have the work email and the personal email, and I joined on both.
Ooh.
And I never, because I want to get the newsletter numbers up, and I never get spam. Obviously they wouldn't spam my work one.
Right.
But my personal one, whatever algorithm sends out the spam, has no idea,
Yeah.
and they don't spam me there either. So
Well, good.
there you go. Yeah, so you're not getting spam. All right, fifth time in history of the LCS, since the LCS went to 7 games, which I think is 85.
85.
It's the fifth time since 1985 that there was one team that swept and the other team that went 7 games. The other 4 winners of the World Series all went 7 games.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Rest versus rust. Okay? The Dodgers are rusty. They don't even need to play the damn thing. All right? Give it to the Blue Jays right now.
Oh,
I'm just saying. The Dodgers are rusty.
they're a little rust. I saw Blake Snell at the Lakers game last night.
Yeah.
What was he doing there? Why isn't he not studying those Blue Jays hitters?
See what I'm saying?
And
Yeah.
and carb loading.
Not allowed to
Drinking
have
protein
fun
shakes.
during this
That's
time.
right. No, this is World Series. Get
Yeah.
out there. So that's interesting. And, it kind of goes back to the scenario in the new playoff format where, the teams that had gotten the byes struggled. I think that was proven. They went the other way this year. I think 3 of the 4 that had the byes advanced.
Yeah, they did.
I think the
this year.
Phillies
Yeah.
were the only one who did not advance of the 4 bye teams.
Yeah.
So
the Blue Jays, the Mariners,
and the
Phillies,
and
the
the
Brewers. Yeah, Brewers.
Mariners, yeah.
Brewers.
Blue Jays, yeah. Brewers, yeah. Phillies. Anyway, so maybe it's not a factor, but and maybe at this point it's beneficial. I think it affects both. You're not seeing pitching if you're a hitter, and if you're a pitcher, you want to get your reps in. You're better when you're throwing. It keeps your stuff sharp. Sim game against your own teammate. I don't know that that's
just not the same.
Beneficial.
No.
Empty stadium, no juice. So it's hard. Whereas the Blue Jays don't have to travel here. I think that's a kind of a significant thing. Also, they get to stay at home, sleep off their hangovers from the other night, and then get back to the business. So we'll see how it is. But it is an interesting thing, and it happens in a lot of sports.
It does,
not just baseball. It's like
100%.
An NHL team sweeps.
Even
NBA teams
and FL. I've said
right
for
the
years.
guys who get the teams that get the buys.
Yeah, I've said for years that's not necessarily an advantage. So hey, we'll see what happens. I'm obviously don't think the Dodgers have no chance. I'm sure they're favored to win the thing, but history says that the team that went 7 will have a better chance to win this thing. But there are some other factors like the date, Jeff, 12/8/23. One of the lowest days in Blue Jays recent history.
December 8th, 2023. So it was at the winter meetings.
Right.
Was that the Ohtani thing?
Yeah. That's the time that that's the day that Blue Jays fans and people in Toronto were tracking the plane that had Shohei Ohtani on it, that he was coming to Toronto to sign. And of course, the plane got there and he didn't. So anyway, there's something to that, that motivates Ohtani, I'm sure some. It also motivates the Blue Jays some. So that's interesting. The other thing that's interesting is that Freddie Freeman is from Canada. And his mom, God rest her soul, has passed away. But every time he says he goes to Canada and every time he plays in Toronto, he feels closer to his mom. He was hurt during the World Series last year, and we saw what he did.
Right.
So I'm not sure we want to get him, having all these good feels. I mean, unless you want the Dodgers to win, which BC I haven't seen in there in a while.
Hi,
but
BC. Yeah.
I'm sure you do, but I don't. And, so I'm kind of thinking, hopefully these good feels won't translate for him, but what are you going to do? I'd like the fact that Vlad is trying to win one for his dad. It's pretty amazing as good a career as Vladimir Guerrero had.
Mm-hmm.
The closest he got was 2010.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not the only Hall of Famer who never won a World Series. There are a lot and even better players than him, but that'd be cool, to finally have one for the.
Yeah. I'd like that for the family.
For the family,
yeah.
And I just really like Vlad Jr. I didn't dislike Vlad Sr. at all.
No,
I liked him and enjoyed watching him play. He's a crazy free swinger, hits balls that bounces.
Oh yeah,
tremendous arm.
Yeah,
back when he played the outfield well. So yeah, hey, another storyline, another reason really to root for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's the best bad ball hitter in history, no doubt about that. And I saw an interesting note, too, about people were saying, why does Vlad, and I even asked this question somewhat rhetorically earlier in the week, why does Vlad Jr. use a translator? And someone put out there today, of course it makes sense. That way, when he answers the question, the people who are watching almost everything he does and every interview and everything else in his home in the Dominican understand him, right? He's speaking to them. And and because he can speak very good English. We've also seen him do quite a few of them here lately. in English. So it's not that he can't speak it. And I'm sure Vlad Sr. can and did.
He
too.
understood what we were saying to him.
Yeah, he did. So, okay, ticket prices for the front row of Game 4 in Dodger Stadium. We got the Blue Jays ticket prices coming up in just a second, Cap, but the ones in Game 4, which would be the Ohtani game.
Oh,
and so
I was wondering why you skipped Game 3.
Yeah, you would suppose that Dodger fans and the Dodger fans, the Dodger Nation in Japan, would believe that game will be the clinching game because, of course, the Dodgers are going to sweep. Of course, I mean that's just the way. That's the way the Dodger Nation in Japan is thinking, and that game will be started by Shohei Ohtani, and it will be finished by Roki Sasaki.
Oh,
right?
man.
So in Japan, that is the game, which may be why the ticket prices for a ticket in the front row behind home plate for that game, 9,756,917 yen.
Yen. Oh.
Yen. Now,
that's like $4.
So, no, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. That's exactly, but I did the conversion.
Oh.
Just so you know, for a family of 4, that's 39 million yen and change. 39 million. Yeah, 39 million yen. But it would be, if you do the math, $64,000. 64 grand. But to be honest, in this day and age, and I hate it, but in this day and age, in a game that could, theoretically, at this juncture, be a clinching game, I would say right behind home plate for a World Series game, that's not 65 grand isn't like completely out of the question. It would be for most humans, but I think you see those kind of prices thrown around for some World Series, primo World Series or primo Super Bowl tickets and things like that. That's still a lot of money.
Yeah, we'll see what that price is at on the morning of Game 4.
Well, that's the thing. When all of a sudden, we'll check Game Time.
I will.
I wonder if Game Time has a conversion to yen. We'll have to look at that. Now, this one's a little more realistic because this is ticket prices in Toronto. And frankly, for anyone who pays for tickets, and that's one of the real blessings of this career is we haven't paid very often for tickets. But 93, this guy purchased tickets for the World Series for $67 in section. Where's that? It says it somewhere in a really good section. And then the price, if you just add inflation right now, should be $152. It's $11,000. And two things about this. Again, I don't know that that's the right math on what inflation would do to it, Jeff. But the other thing is we need to get back to having tickets like that. I want a stub, damn it. I want a souvenir. I want a souvenir. And look he's got his from 93, and now what he has is a freaking screenshot that says it's going to be 11 grand Canadian. I didn't do the conversion rate on that. It's not that different, Canada to the U.S. right now, I don't think. So anyway,
I don't know.
I
it's
hate
pretty
that.
close.
I hate that.
Yeah, no, I want a ticket.
That'd be $8,000 US. So it's still pretty high.
I want a ticket. I'm with you on that. These are pretty big ballparks relative to, they're older ballparks, so they're bigger. Like Dodger Stadium's really, really big.
Yeah, it is.
It may be the biggest in the majors. So
no fees. We're looking at their fees. Wow, yeah. Got to go to Game Time.
But anyway, so there's going to be a lot of inventory, and you'd think that you'd find some cheaper tickets up in the higher realms of these ballparks. But that's pretty cool. And again, ticket stubs are great. I still have our ticket stub. My dad was a Cardinals fan, so in '85, after Game 5, when the series was going back to Kansas City, my dad's like, "Well, you want to go?" And so we drove overnight. My mom didn't go, but sister did. So the three of us, and we scalped tickets.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That next day before the game, we weren't together. All three of us were separate. I was 10 going on 11. I was almost 11, but I was up by myself, very last row of what is now Kauffman Stadium. But I was like right behind home plate, so I could see the ball crossing home plate. And I was with a bunch of retirees.
Nice.
And so they were like taking care of me.
Yeah.
But I still have that ticket stub.
Yeah.
Ticket stubs are the best.
Yeah, they are. I love ticket
And
stubs. Miss them.
Turned out to be this great historical game with the blow and call. And
yeah.
Anyway.
It does beg the question, too, what those rooms in the hotel in Rogers Center are going for if a seat's $11,000.
I've stayed in that hotel before.
I haven't stayed, but I've been in the room before. And
yeah.
It's a cool
but I've never had the room that overlooked the ballpark.
Oh, yeah, no, I ran into a Ranger fan one time when I was there doing sidelines, and he said, come on up. And so we went up and kind of showed the view and did a hit from up there. But anyway, prices are too high, and they're going up. But we got more coming. It's the batting cleanup segment. We'll get to some fun stuff there and some not so fun stuff, I suppose. It's next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Here we go. Die Hard talk. Time to become a Die Hard. $79.99 for a year. You divide that by 12, and it's $6.50 a month. I know my Starbucks this morning cost $5.90. So if I could cut out one and one ninth of those, boom, that's my monthly Die Hard fee. Scan the QR code or go to alldls.com. Check it out. The reason you need to be a Die Hard is so you can read the majority of our copy, which is behind the paywall. And there's a lot of it. I know Ron, though, our new Mavs guy, he posted a story for free that I hope you guys all checked out. Yeah. And curious, want to get to know Ron more and his stuff. And but we all know what we're doing. That's the thing. A lot of years under our belts on our respective beats, and it's the best coverage, most complete coverage of the four major professional teams in the Metroplex, and it's cheap too compared to what the other
100%
other outlets will charge. So become a diehard today. Again, scan the QR code or go to our homepage, and we'll get you there.
Yep, and there's other benefits from being a diehard, 20% off of our events and our merchandise, or 100% off one piece of merchandise. A shirt. You get a shirt. I'm pretty sure you still get a shirt every year you become a diehard. Sometimes
it depends on when you signed up.
When you sign up and it's on sale, you might not, but it's not on sale right now. So I think you're going to get a shirt every year if you sign up right now. And you can, it wouldn't take you but 16 years to have as many as Jeff and I have. So
that's right. And we'll be around.
Yeah, we ain't going anywhere. We're talking baseball every day. Are you kidding me? So anyway, become a diehard and then get you a free shirt, or you can do it an easier way and just go to store.allcitynetwork.com. That's where you can buy our merchandise. It's really good stuff. This is, fabric wise and everything. The one I'm wearing is really one of my favorites. It's a little bit thicker, just feels a little more
Which one do I have on?
Weighty.
I've got on Texas Chew.
Yeah,
I hate to cover it up, but I don't like to be cold either.
No, you don't like being cold. So there's the Dallas collection, store.allcitynetwork.com. That's the place to go to get our merchandise. Last time the Blue Jays were in the World Series was 1993. And right? And
high school senior.
What's that?
High school senior.
You were a high school senior?
Yeah. No, I would have been a freshman in college.
Okay, you were at
No,
TCU?
yeah, I was at TCU.
Were you fall of 93, you would have been at TCU?
Yes.
Some young little greenhorn freshman running around there. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, we were, somebody, I think one of the sports networks up there, that Rogers or somebody, did a thing about, I wonder if any of the Blue Jays were even alive then. So there's a fun pick here that they put on some. Yeah. So Max, Max was 9. Max was a big boy.
Probably remembers it well.
He's probably into it. Chris Bassett, born in 89. You had Springer in 89 too, and then Kevin Gossman. I don't know Tyler Heineman too well. And
that's Scott Heineman's brother,
is
the
it
former
really?
Rangers.
Is it really? Okay, good.
Year,
yeah. And then Jeff Hoffman's their guy. So he was just born in 93.
I don't think he remembers it.
I don't think he remembers that one either. But anyway, those are the guys who were alive the last time the Blue Jays were in the World Series. So pretty cool. I did see the interview with Max. I saw it out there yesterday. I stopped down and looked at it today. And, I mean, needless to say, his fourth time that he's going to the World Series with 4 different teams. He was literally sky high. And it was really cool to see how good he felt about that. And speaking of guys in the World Series, there's only, I think, one guy guaranteed to get a World Series share and or ring. He may not get a full share, but he'll get something, and he'll get a ring no matter which team wins, and that is former Ranger Jose Urena.
Man, that's awesome.
Is that not cool?
Yep.
He pitched for 5 teams this year. 5. How can this guy not land? We wanted the Rangers to get him back.
Yeah.
He was with the Rangers all year, right? In 24?
He was.
Yeah. So we wanted the Rangers to get him back. He had 5 teams, 6 appearances for the Blue Jays and 2 for the Dodgers. I imagine he's hoping the Blue Jays win too, just because 6 games likely gets you a slightly better share than 2 games.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. 5 teams. Mets were the first, then the Blue Jays, Dodgers, Twins, after they had their fire sale, and the Angels as they were trying to get through the end of the season. So 3 really good teams, you know.
Yeah.
I guess the Mets wet the bed, but 2 in the World Series. And this happened to Benji Molina in 2010. The Rangers acquired him from the Giants early July, and then lo and behold, Benji leads the Rangers to the World Series against the Giants. And Benji, we saw him last year in St. Louis. He does Spanish radio for the Cardinals, and he was talking about that and talking about because Boch was the manager and of the Rangers, and then his manager in San Francisco for a number of years, and so they were catching up, and it was a pretty fun conversation to be in.
I bet that was. Yeah, I bet that was very fun. Yeah. So on Game 7 of the ALCS, we didn't get to this yesterday, or it wouldn't have been available the day before. But Game 7, when he arrived at the stadium, Vlad Guerrero was paying tribute to the now long-suffering Toronto Blue Jays. And Vlad showed up at the stadium just before Game 7 wearing the jersey of Austin Matthews, who was the captain. He wears the C for the for the Blue Jays. For the Maple Leafs. And then yesterday, Austin Matthews had a game, and he comes in wearing what? A Vlad Guerrero. A little payback right there, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Pretty cool, and it's amazing. We showed how in Calgary yesterday, a hockey game stopped down to watch the Springer home run. A hockey game in Canada. I mean, the Blue Jays are such a newbie, right, in Toronto, relatively speaking.
Right.
The Maple Leafs are an Original 6 team. They are a team that was just dominant when they first started. It basically was them and the Canadiens, and then the Red Wings got involved, the Rangers, the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, these were the New York, the Boston Bruins. Those were the 6. So anyway, this is like, unbelievable, to break and share anything with them is just really hard to do in Canada. And man, these Maple Leafs are all over it. And by the way, Maple Leafs haven't won since, I think it's 66.
It's been a long drought for the Leaves.
They haven't won the Cup. He can't stand that they pluralize Leafs with Leafs. He wants Leaves because the proper pronunciation and pluralization.
Well, dadgummit,
would be Leaves.
They are Canadian. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But this Austin, I saw before Game 7 that they showed there. I saw a tweet of Vlad walking in with his sweater, and apparently this Matthews guy has never had any luck in Game 7. So people are like, oh, that's a pretty curious choice there, Vlad. So maybe Vlad has broken the Leaves' luck.
Yeah.
Leaves. Thank you. Next.
Speaking of the Leafs or Leaves,
The
they
Leafs
actually
are changing.
This shows you how much this country is into the Blue Jays. The Leafs have changed game times, Jeff.
Yeah.
This comes from PR of the Leafs. It comes from Leafs PR, and it just says, "Look, we're changing it for the World Series," which that says even copious amounts of how they feel and the country feels. You don't screw with hockey in Canada, and boy,
I bet the Sabres are complaining because they complain about everything, right?
Well, probably.
Putting the crease, all that.
Yeah.
Tough break there, fellas. But in 15, I believe it was, when the Rangers had to go back to Toronto, we had to book flights. Me and Gil Leberton, and the Toronto flights were outrageous, and so we did fly into Buffalo and then drove into Toronto, and it was a nice drive. We went to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, isn't that great?
It was pretty amazing.
I did that.
I couldn't believe that.
Once.
So, anyway, so that's like an easy home and home. I'm assuming they just bus. Maybe they drive themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, they might.
But and Calgary, of course, would gladly do that. Now, I mean, it's only a 15-minute change there.
Well, but now the big one actually right there is October 25th is a Saturday, right? So a Saturday means hockey night in Canada. And that's a big deal. They moved it to hockey afternoon in Canada. Now, that said, it's not a guarantee. I don't know which game. There's only one game that's hockey night in Canada, so I don't know that game is it. But if it is, that's a huge change.
Yeah.
And you might be right, T.O., 67 for the Maple Leafs last one. So, and then I like this, Jeff, as we get out of here, we'll get off the World Series and the Toronto topic for a moment, but did you see who the MVP of Banana Ball was? He also won the home run championship in Banana Ball and had the highest average. He won the Triple Crown and the MVP in Banana Ball.
I have no idea.
John Daniels knew he was going to be
good. Oh, Jake Skoll. Okay, all right.
Jake Skoll. JD knew it. We love it, JD. You knew this guy was going to be great.
Yeah.
It's an MVP.
Yeah, what a draft that was. What a time for the Rangers, because 09 early on, right after the 09 season. Yeah, that was the year I broke my back. Yeah. The Tom Hicks was starting to put out the word that he's trying to sell the team and financial ruin and all of that stuff. That's when I met Chuck Greenberg for the first time, right after the 09 season. And then, that was after MLB had not allowed the Rangers to sign Matt Perk to the pre-draft deal that they had struck with his family.
That's right.
And so the 09 draft was a disaster. So then the Rangers get 2 picks in the 10 draft, Jake Skoll, and then a Canadian catcher named Kellen Degelin. I think Degelin might have gone to AA. I don't think Jake did. No, we know he didn't, because it was the first time when he played in Frisco. That was probably never played in that ballpark. Well, good for Jake. Congratulations, Banana Ball MVP. However you win that award.
I thought it was. I thought that'd be like the MVP of the Globetrotters. It's like, right? I didn't know that. But anyway, that was the post. I saw it on the Banana Ball Twitter account. So there you go. Congratulations to Jake Skoll. And congratulations to you for making it through another day with us. We appreciate you. It's been fun, as always. It'll be fun again tomorrow. The Silver Slugger finalists were announced in the National League today. Tomorrow's American League Day, so we'll have some potential news there, and maybe, just maybe, some news about what the Rangers are going to do with their coaching staff. It's all tomorrow or Friday. We'll be here both days for you, with you, at 1 o'clock on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.